Use your heart energy and not just your cock energy. I get out of a 2-year relationship and feel destroyed. I spend a year crying, going to therapy, and writing a bunch of sad songs that you can check out on my YouTube music page. I put dating on pause because 1, it doesn't feel right. 2, I'm on a mission to become the best version of myself that I can be. Lots of emotional hard work and an uncountable amount of cheesecakes later, I reach a zenith. I'm happy. Happy with my life, happy with my job, happy with the new friends I'm making. I feel good and I'm having amazing experiences. Feelings start blossoming inside of me. Not a feeling of desire, not a feeling of neediness. A feeling that I want to share my happy life with someone else. And it does get lonely at night. How do I meet someone? Meeting partners through personal networks is still the most common kind of introduction. Meeting through friends, at work, at school, through your community, at events, at places of shared interest. These are fantastic ways to meet people. Here's the thing. I recently moved to a new town, Greenville, South Carolina. I'm a freelancer who works at home, and I'm just starting to make friends. Opportunities are limited. I can and do flirt with people casually at places like bars, but those types of encounters usually stand for only one night. I thirst for something more, a deeper connection. How's a single man supposed to meet an amazing woman? The answer is dating apps. 39% of online daters and 12% of Americans overall have married or been in a committed relationship with someone they first met through a dating site or app. It's now normal to meet people on dating apps. So I tried Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge. Those dating apps are the most used in the area where I live. Since they're the ones I have the most experience with, I'll be focusing on them for this video. Hi, I'm Yousef, and I question. I've been using dating apps for 3 months and have gone on 20 plus dates with some incredibly wonderful people. Today I'm asking, are dating apps worth using? I'm going to give you a breakdown of the biggest dating apps, share some facts and stats, tell you the pros, neutrals, and cons, then share my thoughts. And I'll be sharing some of my juicy dating stories. Grab my hand and get ready, because this is going to be a spicy journey. A breakdown of the biggest dating apps. I'm the type of person who sexually researches important things that are new to me. Sometimes I do research when things aren't important, like that time I spent 2 hours on Amazon looking for a toothbrush. If I was at a store, I probably would have picked one up without even thinking about it. My brain is different. I try my best to delete expectations from my life. Instead, I get as much information as possible about something and see what happens with casual optimism. I start reading about dating apps and where they come from. Did you know that one company owns all of the most popular dating apps? Match Group Incorporated owns and operates the largest global portfolio of popular online dating services, including Tinder, Match.com, Meetic, OkCupid, Hinge, Plenty of Fish, Ship, and Our Time, totaling over 45 global dating companies. This scent, it's the scent of a monopoly on love. Knowing this, it makes sense that they all work the same way. A photo of a person appears. You swipe right if you want to match with them, swipe left if you don't. Pretty simple. Does anyone remember the website Hot or Not? It worked similarly, but instead of swiping left or right, you would give the person a rating from 1 to 10. Tinder simplified the 1 to 10 rating into a swipe left or right in 2013. It's credited for popularizing the swipe feature that every dating app now uses. I think it's genius. It simplifies things to physical attraction, which is important to most people, but it's also shallow. Is the app really superficial though? Is it forcing us to think that it's all about looks? Or is it reflecting the human desire for physical attraction? Think about how relationships start in the real world. Physical attraction is an important component in romantic relationships. It is often the starting point of relationships, helping people connect with each other and build an emotional attachment. People care about looks, and that is hard to deny. Online daters find it especially important to be able to view someone's photo. Fully 71% of users say it was very important to them that the profiles they looked at included the other user's photo. Tinder relies on looks the most. You can write about yourself in the profile section, but there's a 500 character limit. Lots of people use that space to tell a corny joke or list their height like it's something that they have control over. Side note, I'm 193 centimeters or 6'4", and my last 2 partners are under 5'5". Height doesn't matter to me, so I don't really get the point of adding your height to your profile. Tinder is the simplest dating app, but it has the reputation that it's used to hook up with people. Best for meetups and hookups. Tinder. While you can meet people for casual dates or casual sex on any of these apps, Tinder reigns supreme in this category. I've used Tinder for that reason, but I quickly learned that I'm looking for something a little more meaningful. That's when I tried Bumble. I like Bumble for two reasons. One, it isn't owned by Match Group. Two, women have to message first. Best for women. Bumble. Made for women, by women, Bumble is a user-friendly app that strives to create a positive experience for its daters with its zero-tolerance policy toward hate speech and body shaming. While I normally prefer an egalitarian approach, it's a fun spin and gives women more control, which is needed. Young women receive the most harassment on dating apps. 6 in 10 female users ages 18 to 34 say someone through a dating site or app continued to contact them after they said they were not interested, while 57% say they have been sent a sexually explicit message or image that they did not ask for. At the same time, 44% of these young female users say that someone has called them an offensive name via these platforms, while 19% report being physically threatened by another user. Bumble works the same way as Tinder. Swipe right if you like, swipe left if you don't. There's two differences though. One, you can put more information in your bio through prompts, so you can show your personality more. That makes it less shallow. Two, if you match with someone and you're a man, you can't message. The woman has to make the first move. I like this idea and I love what Bumble stands for. What I don't like is that I can't get any dates using Bumble. Anecdotally speaking, when I ask my guy friends if they got on dates on Bumble, their experiences are the same. It's pretty sparse. Since I had no luck with it, I moved on to what seems to be the most popular dating app in the area where I live, Hinge. The app's slogan is designed to be deleted, and it's known for being a good option for people looking for a relationship. Best for quality interactions. Hinge. This is a great option for those who are just entering the dating scene. Online dating coach Perry Schneider says, it has a lot of great questions to get to know potential matches on the app and a new voice note feature. Instead of a profile section, you get profile prompts that are fun, silly, or interesting. It encourages people to give unique responses that helps share their personality. But trust me, I can't count the number of times I've seen I'm overly competitive about everything. Uniqueness is a topic I'll get into later on in this video. You can add videos to your profile. This helps get your personality across better than photos. You can add a voice prompt on your profile. People can hear what you sound like. This sets Hinge apart and gives us guys who aren't a 10 a fighting chance. You can show your personality a lot better. Side note, I may not be a 10, but I'm definitely not a 1. I think of myself as a 7, 8 when I get a fresh fade. Just for fun, what would you rate me? Let me know in the comments. When you see a prompt or photo you like, you tap the heart on the bottom right. Then you get to send a message, which is crucial because you can engage with the person. Most dating apps rely on looks, and Hinge is the same, but Hinge gives you more chances to show your personality and to engage. That's why I think it's the dating app that I've had the most success with. It works the best for me, and it's the most popular app in the area where I live. Story time! Her name is Patty Mayonnaise. She's all about nature, embracing life, and petting cows. Beautiful blue eyes and hair that's somewhere between a blonde and brunette. Plus, she does yoga, so you know she takes care of that body. Since she loves cows, I matched with her using a cow dad joke. What do you call a cow with no legs? Ground beef. We go to dinner at the best Indian restaurant in Greenville, Saffron. You know it's true. She waits until after we order to say that she's not really into sitting at restaurants and asks if we can go to the park to eat. Without even thinking, I say yes, because I'm a yes and kind of person. Keep in mind, it's 1 degree Celsius outside, and Yousef, being born and raised in the desert of Kuwait, has a low tolerance for the cold. I tell the waiter that I forgot my iron-on at home and ask him to put our food for takeaway. I, of course, leave a fat tip for the guy. We meet up at the park near the zoo. I bring up the fact that on her profile it says that she's spiritual, and I would love for her to tell me what that means. She says she used to be Christian, but now she's only spiritual. But that she feels the spirit of Jesus Christ all around her at all times, including right now. Oh, cool. See, I don't judge anymore. I only accept. So I accept this. Even though I thought it was weird. The day ends on a good note and we both agreed to a second date. We meet up at Swamp Rabbit Cafe and she surprises me with the cutest homemade charcuterie board full of cheeses, olives, and chocolates. That was really sweet and it touched my heart. Then she says she wants to go for a walk while it's raining and it's 4 degrees Celsius outside. But me being me, I say yes, I grab an umbrella, and we go for what you could call a wet walk. We talk, laugh, and enjoy ourselves. As we're walking back to the cafe, she starts veering off in another direction, into the parking lot of an apartment complex. Where are we going? She says to her apartment. Turns out she lives right by the cafe. In my mind, I'm thinking, Yousef, don't assume anything. I'm also thinking, Yousef, she wants my little Yousef. We get to her apartment and she lights up a red color candle that she says is for passion, walks over to me and begins what she brought me over to the apartment for. We start making out harder than an Acme anvil falling on Coyote's head. Then, out of nowhere, she stops kissing me, takes my hands, holds them in hers, raises them up to her chest and asks me, where is your love energy? See, there's something you have to know about me. I'm the type of person who loves making others laugh. I joke around all the time. My type of humor is deadpan, like British humor, where I say things with a straight face and sometimes people can't tell I'm joking. It's similar to the humor style of comedian Nikki Glazer, where you kind of rush through the punchline like you didn't say anything funny and it takes a couple seconds for people to process what you just said and then laugh profusely.
I can't trust that someone's gonna like see my inner beauty in line at CVS if I have no makeup on. They're not gonna like sense that I'm a good friend or like I'm funny or I do anal. Like they're not gonna know any of my best traits. Just by...
So anyways, this woman asks me where my love energy is, and I, of course, reply, in my cock. She looks at me with a disgruntled face for a second. Then she says, I want you to close your eyes and focus all your energy into the palms of your hands. The only thing going through my perpetually horny mind is what kind of crazy hot sex voodoo is this woman going to do to me? I close my eyes, she takes my hands and puts them on her chest. Then we stand there in silence for 1 minute. Then she says, I'm feeling your energy pulse through your body, going through your hands and entering my heart. And I swear to this microphone, it took everything inside of me not to burst out in laughter. She tells me to open my eyes and asks me if I felt it. And of course, I say no. She looks at me for a couple seconds, says she's had an amazing date, then asks me to leave. I am so confused. I thought we were going to go primal, but it's okay. Remember, Yousef, no expectations. I say thank you for the lovely date, then take my leave. But wait, you think that's the juicy part? The next morning, she sends me a mile-long message. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'll just share the juiciest part. But if you want to see the whole thing, I'm going to post it on my Ko-Fi where monthly subscribers can see it. In this long message, she says one epic thing that will stay with me to the day I die. Use your heart energy and not just your cock energy. We've only been on 2 dates. 2 dates. I just could not believe what I was reading. That line was stuffed into a message full of controlling stuff, red flags, and just overall weirdness. That's when I noped out of there. I sent her a very nice message saying that I think she's wonderful, but I don't think I'm what she's looking for. Dating apps, facts, and stats. Before we figure out if dating apps work, we have to learn about them. How many people use dating apps? 30% of all United States adults have used a dating app, and 48% of 18 to 29-year-olds have used them. People are using dating apps, and for the younger generation, it's totally normal to download Tinder or Bumble or Hinge and jump on it. How many dates from online apps turn into something serious? 39% of online dating users, representing 12% of all United States adults, say they have been in a committed relationship or married someone they met on a dating site or app. 39% worldwide, but only 12% in the United States. That sounds kind of low, but finding love is hard whether it's through an app or not, so it makes sense. How many people are on dating apps? Tinder has 75 million monthly active users. 7.8 million of which are from the United States. Wow, okay, that's a lot of people looking for love and sleepless nights. What's the gender breakdown of these apps? As of March 2021, 75% of monthly active users on Tinder are male, while 24% are female. The men and women gender ratio on Tinder is almost 9-1, while even the female-friendly apps like Bumble have fewer than 20% of Bumble users. The boys are showing up hard for this one. There's more men using these apps than women, which doesn't surprise me. What does surprise me is only 20% of Bumble users, the woman-forward dating app, are women. How often does each gender swipe right? While women swipe more than men overall, they are far more selective when doing so. Women swipe yes to just 1 in 20 people, while the majority of men swipe yes more often than no. Here's a graph showing data pulled directly from Tinder. Women pass or swipe left on 95% of profiles and swipe right on only 5%. Men swipe left on 47% of profiles and swipe right on 53%. Wow. 5%? That's kind of mind-blowing to me. I had no idea that women swipe right so little. Could you imagine if Tinder advertises this? Only 5% of women swipe right. It would be too honest. No one would download the app. How much money do online apps make? For the 2021 year, Match had revenue of $3 billion compared with $2.4 billion in 2020. $3 billion? Holy pink banana, Batman. These dating apps are making money. It's interesting to me because you often hear the advice not to ever pay for dating apps on blogs and online forums. But it looks like people are paying, and they're paying big time. Story time! Her name is Lizzy McGuire. I like her prompt saying she's into creative people, so I give her the Italian classic. What's your favorite pasta shape and why? Side note, I've been complimented so many times for asking this question. It's different and cute, and you should steal it. We messaged for a bit, and she seems chill, so I asked her to meet downtown at a local rooftop bar, Sip. We walk in together, and I ask if she wants to get a drink. She says yes. Then she asks what I'm drinking, and I tell her that I don't drink. She loudly says, "Then what are we even doing here?" Surprised, I say it's a cool place to chill and chat. Plus, they got free water. They always got free water at bars, bro. We sit down, and the first thing that she starts talking to me about is why alcohol is good for you. And by telling me about it, I mean she talks about it for 20 minutes. I somehow get the chance to talk about myself a little bit, and I tell her that I recently became vegetarian. She uses this piece of information to tell me all the reasons why being a vegan is bad for 20 minutes. And I'm not even vegan. She goes to sip her drink, which gives me the tiniest window to tell her that I play guitar. She uses this tidbit of information to go on a triad about why guitar players are some of the worst band members to play with for 20 minutes. So I ask her what she's looking for in a relationship. She says a string of words that I will never forget. I'm a bi-curious, solo, ethically polyamorous, demisexual, sapiosexual, omnivert. I blankly stare at this woman for 20 seconds while my Dumbo brain is trying to process what she just said. And me, being me, the straight-faced joker says, so basically you want to openly have sex with lots of people and everybody knows about it. She didn't like me saying that. I was joking, of course, trying to lighten the mood. I understand what her string of words means, but I'm also confused, so I tried to make her giggle. We talked a little bit more, then ended the date with a nice hug. An hour later, I checked my Hinge messages, and her profile is gone, which means she ghosted me. That's okay, because I think her IQ was a couple thousand more than mine. Plus, I'm laid back, down to earth, and rarely argue with people. It wouldn't have worked out. The pros of dating apps. Dating apps are so easy to use. It takes minutes to download the app, upload pictures, and start swiping. You could be going out on a date with someone the same day you download the app if you have good pictures and send interesting messages. It's honestly kind of genius how easy it is to use. There's immediacy with Tinder. People want someone and they want them now. With Bumble or Hinge, it takes a little longer, but that's because people are looking for something a little more meaningful. You can learn a lot about someone before going on a date with them. Let's say it's real life. You see someone attractive, so you go talk to them. All you're going off is looks that you're physically attracted to them. You have no idea who they are, what they do, what their personality is like. With dating apps, you get more information. If a person takes the time to fill out their profile with their interests, shows off their personality, and adds interesting photos, you can learn a lot about them. You can feel their personality sometimes bursting out of the app. They tell you where they graduated from, what they do for a living, and what they do for fun. I've read profiles where it's like, wow, this person has put the time and effort into their profile and it really stands out. They seem super interesting and fun. I would love to go on a date with them. Surprisingly, dating apps give you a good amount of information compared to just cold approaching someone. You can meet and date people you don't directly know. Who you meet and date is largely guided by the people you interact with on a daily basis. The proximity principle. In social psychology, the proximity principle suggests that people closer together in a physical environment are more likely to form a relationship than those farther away. Think about how your parents met. It was at school, the workplace, a common community. Dating apps open you up to a larger pool of people. You can even date someone out of state or in another country. Dating apps give you the ability to connect with new people that you may never have had the chance to. It's safer for LGBTQ plus people to find someone to date. You think straight people have a tough time finding someone to date? Try being LGBTQ plus. Using Gallup data taken from interviews with over 1.6 million adults, demographer Gary J. Gates reported that 10 million Americans, 4% of the population, now identify as LGBT. With such a small amount of people to be able to date and limited options to find someone, dating apps provide a safer and sometimes more secure way for a person who is LGBTQ plus to find someone. About 2/3, 65% of people who identify as lesbian, gay, or bisexual and have used online dating sites or apps say their experience was very or somewhat positive. By contrast, 56% of straight online daters say their personal experiences were positive overall. They rate it even higher than straight people, and they find it safer. A large majority of LGB online daters, 78%, feel that dating sites and apps are a very or somewhat safe way to meet people, somewhat higher than the share of straight online daters who say the same. 69%. When you have a smaller dating pool to begin with and can face discrimination or harassment, dating apps can be a safer way to find someone. But unfortunately, that doesn't mean that they don't face any harassment. Relatively large shares of lesbian, gay, or bisexual online daters report that they have experienced at least one of the forms of harassment measured in this survey on those sites and apps. 69% compared with 52% of their straight counterparts. Why can't we just all love one another? Story time. Her name is Jessica Rabbit. She's sweeter than a slice of apple pie a la mode on July 4th. We spend a very, very sexy Valentine's night together that I promise you she will never forget. We date for a couple months and things are going swimmingly. Here's the thing, she has a kid and I'm still unsure if I want to date someone with a child. I'm neither here nor there, so I'm taking my time, navigating the possibility. One night, she sends me a message. Hey cutie, I want you. Let's just say her libido is higher than Mount Everest. Then she sends another message. I just put my child to sleep in the other room. Come over. Your kid's sleeping in the other room and you want me to come over for hanky-panky? Does she know that I have the tendency to make her scream? It made me feel kind of weird, you know? Every other time we've seen each other, her kid was with her father. So I tell her, I'm not sure if I'm comfortable coming over to do that with your kid sleeping in the other room. And to my surprise, she gets upset. We message back and forth a bit and I'm feeling kind of uneasy about the whole thing. I let her know that maybe I'm not sure if I'm ready to be with someone who has a kid. It's my own shortcoming. The neutrals of dating apps. Money. If you take the time to read about dating apps or blogs on online forums, it's common advice not to ever pay for a dating app. It gives you the perception that no one is paying, but that couldn't be further from the truth. In its fourth quarter earnings call, Match Group reported total revenue growth of 17% over the prior year to $2.4 billion, and Tinder's direct revenue was $1.4 billion in 2020, an 18% increase in year over year. People are paying for dating apps. That's the truth. These are companies and their goal is to make money. They're not out here for the goodness of mankind and for the love of all people. But why pay for a dating app? When you're using the app for free, the amount of right swipes you get to do per day is restricted. The most common swipe limit for young women is close to 100, and for men, it's as low as 50. How do you get around the swipe limit? You pay money. Paying for Tinder Gold gets you unlimited likes, lets you see who likes you, lets you match with people from all over the world, gives you a free monthly super like where you'll be put at the top of the queue for a match, 1 monthly boost, and the ability to rewind where you can redo your last like or nope. How much Tinder Gold is depends on how old you are. It's $20 if you're under 30 years old. It's $30 if you're over 30. You may have noticed that my source for the pricing isn't Tinder itself. That's because Tinder doesn't actually list the price of Tinder Gold on their website. Such a transparent, trustable company, right? I think it's because it's ageist. It costs more if you're older, and it's genderist. If you're a woman, you get more swipes than a man. Even so, I'm neutral about paying for dating apps because of 2 reasons. 1, these are for-profit companies who want to make money. 2, you can save a lot of time by paying for the apps. The more swipes you get in, the higher the chance you can get a date. Paying for a dating app can speed up the process of finding someone because you get unlimited likes. I paid for Hinge once. They gave me a 50% discount, so it was only $15. I had the power to send unlimited likes, and trust me, I used it. I honestly did feel like I was getting more matches and more dates. Paying speeds up the process. So it all depends on how quickly you want to go on a date or find a relationship. We can't talk about dating apps without talking about ghosting. Ghosting, the practice of ending a personal relationship with someone by suddenly and without explanation withdrawing from all communication. In my experience and many others, ghosting is a common practice. A 2019 study found that respondents had ghosted 29% of the people they had dated and had been ghosted by 25% of dates themselves. In addition, 74% of respondents said they believed that ghosting was an appropriate way to end a relationship. I always heard about ghosting, but I couldn't believe it happens so often until I started experiencing it again and again and again and again. It's hard to believe that so many people find this as okay behavior because I, in a million years, would never ghost someone. I'm open, honest, and direct with every person I know. If I'm not feeling it with someone, I just tell them. Sometimes I message, sometimes I call, sometimes I meet up with someone to tell them in person, but I have never ghosted anyone and I find that behavior disgusting. So you're probably wondering, why is it in the neutral section? It's because when someone ghosts you, it's an indicator that they aren't mature, have an inability to communicate, or it shows that the person lacks empathy. Sometimes it's all those things combined. And if I get ghosted, it lets me know that they weren't worth dating in the first place. It saves me time. Because instead of trying to foster a beautiful relationship with that person, now that they've ghosted me, I can focus on other people who are worthy of my time. That's why even though it hurts sometimes, ghosting can be seen as something positive. And don't forget, ghosting is a powerful tool if someone is harassing you online. The ability to quickly delete them is powerful. Side note, I have been stood up twice. Story time. Her name is Jem. Truly outrageous. Imagine the most gorgeous blue eyes you can think of. Her eyes were prettier than that. She works for a labor union fighting for the rights of people. And she's tall, 6 feet to be exact. You know your boy is looking for a tree to climb every night. She lives on the border of North Carolina and she's coming down to Greenville, so we set up a date. In a sea of sameness, she really stands out. I want to impress her, so I bake her homemade chocolate chip cookies. I love cooking and baking, so for a first date, I often bake something sweet for the person I'm going to see to show off my skills and to thank them for matching with me and going on a date with me. We meet and she gives me the warmest hug. We're hitting it off really quickly. We get some food and sit right beside the waterfall that's in downtown Greenville. The weather's perfect. The water from the waterfall is rushing behind us. Geese and ducks are flying by. It feels romantic. When she's done eating and we get up to walk, I tell her that I love her height and that I need to try something so bad if she doesn't mind. So I stand beside her and slip my arm into hers. She giggles for 30 seconds straight and her face is flushed red. We walk and talk and have a fun time together. The date is ending and she talks about wanting me to come up to North Carolina to see her neck of the woods. I say I'd love to. We hug and say goodbye. For the next 2 weeks, we message each other and get to know each other a lot better. At one point, she even says that she can't wait for me to come up to North Carolina and learn more about me in person. One day, I send a cute message and no reply. I wait a couple days and send another message. No reply. 2 weeks go by, so I send one more message and unfortunately she doesn't reply. It looks like she has ghosted me. Honestly, I've become numb to ghosting. 99% of the time, I don't care. But that one, I cared about. That one hurt. It's my own fault. I was hyping things up too much for a first date. The cons of dating apps. Dating apps lack transparency. Dating apps are even less transparent than Facebook and Google. Hinge buries its community guidelines in its terms of service. The thing no one reads and is full of legal jargon. Want to know how much a dating app subscription costs? The only way to find out is to make a profile. They don't show the prices on their website, and I think they do this because the pricing scheme is ageist. You pay more if you're older. Why is age discrimination allowed on these apps? Dating apps don't advertise that men outnumber women 10 to 1 on these apps and that women only swipe right 5% of the time. How many people do you think would download these apps if they knew these statistics? Dating apps sell your information and you consent to it when you sign up for them. The Android versions of OkCupid and Tinder, which are both owned by the Match Group, have reportedly shared users' data, including information about their political views, ethnicities, and location, with a customer engagement service called Braze. This isn't things like your favorite color or the name of your cat. It's personal stuff you would share for dating. Dating apps are rating people based on their attractiveness and hiding potential matches from you. On Hinge, there's a feature called Standouts. Standouts is a feed where we shine a light on profiles that are getting the most attention, coupled with our knowledge of who you've liked or commented on in the past. Anecdotally speaking, and in the experience of many of my friends who I've spoken to about this, the people who are in standouts are rarely seen in your regular match queue, or if they are, it's always after you've swiped on hundreds of profiles. You can only match with someone in standouts by using a rose. A rose puts you at the top of the queue when you match with someone. You get 1 rose per week, unless, of course, you pay for more. So this dating app algorithm is rating people based on how many people swipe right on them and basically putting them behind a paywall. Does this sound messed up to anyone? Why do we let dating app algorithms dictate how attractive people are? Dating apps can be addicting because it gamifies relationships. Dating apps are simple, maybe too simple. The longer you use the app, the more you start feeling like people are disposable. Swipe, 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 swipe. It turns into a game of numbers and it's addicting. Dating apps use the same design tricks that big social media companies have used to vacuum up all of our personal data. And social media's tricks, in turn, have been lifted from casinos, specifically slot machines. First, there's the infinite scroll. Then there's the uncertainty of who will pop up, just like the spinning wheels of a slot machine. You do, however, know that you will eventually make a connection. When you do, that's when dating apps extend their sticky fingers to reel you in with the alert notifications, sounds, and vibration, just like those slot machines endlessly blinking and emitting the sound of a sweet, sweet jackpot. What happens when you gamify relationships and make it about quantity? It reduces the quality of your relationships. You start getting into this headspace that you think of these as numbers, not as people. Not working with one person? I can jump on Tinder and find someone new. Or how about that feeling when you're on a 4th or 5th date and you think to yourself, am I missing out by dating this one person? Let me get on Tinder and date someone else to find out. When faced with too many options to consider, we can find ourselves overwhelmed and feeling as though we'll be missing opportunities either way we choose. The dating apps are no exclusion to this. How are you supposed to weed through millions of profiles within a 20-mile radius? Fear of missing out and paradox of choice can hurt your chances for success in finding someone special. Dating apps don't remove inactive profiles. This may be the slimiest thing that dating apps do. See, when someone doesn't want to use Tinder anymore, they just delete it off their phone. But that doesn't delete your profile off of the application. You can still appear as a potential match. There's no information on the Tinder, Hinge, or Bumble websites on how long they keep profiles active. I've personally seen profiles on Hinge with the prompt, "Give me travel tips for," where people will put a location and a date. Here's one example. "Give me travel tips for Machu Picchu. I am going there in the spring of 2021. I saw this in March 2022. You can link your Instagram account to your Hinge profile. A handful of times I've seen Instagram posts where they're with a person and the caption will talk about how it's their boyfriend. Keeping profiles active indefinitely is dishonest. People have limited swipes on dating apps. Can you imagine how many times you've wasted a swipe by using it on someone who hasn't been on the app for weeks, months, or even years? Why do dating apps do this? 1, they can pad their numbers by saying there's millions of people on their apps. 2, it helps them make more money. You like, run out of likes, then you're incentivized to pay for unlimited likes. But a bunch of those likes were going to people who are not even on the app. It's scummy. Only in the last few months has Hinge added an active now or active recently green dot at the top of profiles. These are the only profiles I try to match with because I have no idea if the other people are even using the app. People tend to be dishonest on dating apps. Whether it's due to general anonymity or the fact that people want to show themselves in the best possible light, people are either intentionally or unintentionally dishonest on these dating apps. There's something about being on the internet that makes people act differently compared to how they are in real life. A clear majority of online daters, 71%, say it is very common for people on these platforms to lie about themselves to appear more desirable, while another 25% think it is somewhat common. Whether it's lying about their age, their job, or what they do, they want to look more desirable to get more matches. But lying is never the answer. It's crazy to me that people do this. I am me and I will always be myself. One example that I have experienced a handful of times is fat fishing. Similar to catfishing, but solely when someone's online profile portrays them as being far skinnier than they actually are. The person looks one way in their photos, then when you meet them, they are significantly different. I don't know if it's digitally altering their photos or they're just using photos of when they were younger and skinnier. The issue for me isn't about weight. It's about deception. It's about not loving yourself for who you are. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and you should show yourself as you are today. Everyone is unique, and we all have different body preferences. My motto is to show yourself honestly. People can be ruder online. Roughly 3 in 10 or more online dating users say someone through a dating site or app continued to contact them after they said they were not interested, 37%, sent them a sexually explicit message or image they didn't ask for, 35%, or called them an offensive name, 28%. Is it the anonymity? Is it the fact that they can't be held accountable as easily on a dating app compared to real life? How much of this is because it's online? Or how much of it is people showing their real selves? Are people this unempathetic towards others? I'd rather not think that way about people, but the statistics make it hard. Another con of dating apps is that it makes you think that everyone is the same. In my heart, I know everyone is unique and special in their own way, but dating apps can destroy that perception. When you're endlessly swiping, people's faces start blurring together. There's been times when I swipe on someone and the very next person has the same facial expression and similar features, and it makes me do a double take. Didn't I just swipe on this person? When filling out their profile, so many people choose the same prompts and the same answers. I'm overly competitive about everything. If loving this is wrong, I don't want to be right. Queso, one thing I love doing. traveling. I won't shut up about my dog Scooby-Doo, who's of course the cutest dog in the world. I cannot tell you how many times I've seen responses like these on profiles. People take the same photos in the same places. It's a meme. People pick the easiest prompts and answer them quickly, so lots of people come off as generic. It's not their fault though. Describing yourself is an art form. You have to be good at writing. You have to know how to be specific and how to highlight certain aspects about yourself. While it's true most people fall into certain archetypes and personas, I have to constantly remind myself that everyone is special and unique in their own way. Story time! Her name is Lola Bunny. Her profile is full of smiles and fun. I send her a dad joke. What do you call an indecisive bee? A maybe. And maybe you want to go mini golfing with me sometime. I tell you, man, I'm all about the cuteness and the jokes. You got to make them laugh. We're having a blast playing mini golf. But I do notice that she brings up church often. She's part of the community and helps out people a ton. I love that. We're getting close to the last hole and she tells me she has to go somewhere else for dinner. But she's having so much fun that she even asks me out for the second date. Pretty rare. After I score a hole-in-one for the last hole, we sit down and chat for a bit. I bring up that I notice that she brings up church a lot, and I tell her I'm totally cool with you being religious and I think it's awesome. But out of respect for you, are you cool with being with someone who isn't? She says, yeah, of course, no worries, as long as you're not an atheist. I stand up and comedically say, well, today's your lucky day because even though I'm not a big fan of labels, that's the closest to what I would describe myself as. To my surprise, she giggles and says, oh, no worries, you're such a kind and fun guy. I give her a bear hug and then she tells me she's excited about our second date and to message her about when we can set it up. I smile and say sure thing. I walk to my car, open up Hinge, and her profile is gone. She ghosted me right then and there. I'm wondering, when did she even do it? When we were hugging? Did she have her phone out and mid-hug? While it was in her hand, she clicked delete on my profile. We didn't even leave the parking lot yet. She must have been speedrunning ghosting me because that's the fastest it has ever happened. I feel bewildered at first, but then I realize it's for the best because I'm not interested in dating someone who's religiously intolerant. Or is it irreligiously intolerant? My thoughts. When it comes to answering the question, are dating apps worth it? My answer is maybe. There is no denying the huge amounts of problems with dating apps, as I mentioned in the cons section, but I can't say that I haven't met some amazing people by using them. At the same time, while I didn't keep track of the amount of likes I sent out, the amount of matches I got, and the number of dates I went on, I have an estimate that the ratios are pretty low. They align closely to the stats we were looking at earlier. I feel for every 100 swipes, I would get 2 to 4 matches and maybe 1 date out of it. The numbers are against me, but again, I've met some amazing people. Do I point the finger at dating apps or do I point the finger at dating in general? Some say dating is hard, that it isn't worth it. I disagree. I'm optimistic and think dating is fun, and I love first dates. I think it's really lovely to meet someone for the first time and to start learning about them. It's like starting a new book. It's a new adventure, new characters. You never know where the book is going to take you. Aside from some ghosting, the majority of dating app experience I've had have been awesome. I remind myself every time I match with someone, there's a real person behind this profile. Be kind, be empathetic, and have fun. Don't rely solely on dating apps to help you find love. Use it as one of many ways to meet people. Use it in moderation. Be humble and appreciative of the dates you do go on rather than fixating on all the dates you don't. That's how I see it. Outro! Thanks for joining me on this long journey of app datery. I'd love to hear your experiences using dating apps in the comments. Sources are in the description. Would you like me to make a video on dating app success or dating tips? I'm no expert, but there are things that I've learned that do help me have more success in dating, and I can combine that with some deep research. Let me know if you want me to make a video like that. If you want to support me in doing more videos that question, you can do so using Ko-Fi. a Patreon alternative where you can subscribe to me or send a one-time donation. I have a goal where if we reach $400 a month, I'll start donating half the amount to classrooms in need via Donors Choose every month. Plus, subscribers get other benefits that you can read about on my Ko-Fi page. Thank you so much for watching.